Moving on, boys, the big news, the massive news this week, Project Restart.
Thank fuck.
Premier League
Thank God.
has been dated to return unless there's a meteorite or an asteroid filled with coronavirus coming to Earth. June 17th, now that date is UK based, so for us it'll probably be June 18th.
Yep.
The first two games is the catch-up games, so to make sure that everyone else is on 29 games. Aston Villa versus Sheffield United, and the big one, a massive return here, Man City versus Arsenal. Now, where that's going to be played, I don't think that's enlisted yet, but a big game, whether it's on neutral territory or not,
Doesn't really matter.
it's still a massive game. Now, so that will put all the teams level on 29 games played for the season. There'll be 27 points left to obtain throughout the whole season for every single one of the players. For the teams. Now, Liverpool is currently 25 points clear. So that leaves Man City to, if they lose against that, again, this is just written pretty much. If Man City, actually, just before I say that, so the Premier League is also starting all the teams, I should say, is starting the same day as Serie A. So it's two massive leagues coming back on literally the same day. So it's football frenzy on that day.
And they're playing all games, right? There's no shortening of the season. All the games are being played.
No, all the games are still being played as per normal. Yeah.
Yep.
So again, now if Man City lose to Arsenal, Liverpool have a chance to win the Premier League at Everton, at Goodison Park.
Okay.
So lifting the Premier League trophy after 30 years in front of your biggest rivals at their stadium.
Take it any day.
It's massive.
It's to come back 30 years.
Yeah, but with
is
an
the
empty
best way to do
stadium,
it.
it doesn't really
Look,
thing.
it can be an empty stadium, but I can guarantee you that outside Anfield, there's going to be a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people is going to give a shit about this at the moment.
And you know what? Just coming back on that, I think just before the break, of course, we don't know how these teams are going to start, but Arsenal was in better form than Man City was. I think Arsenal they've won their last 4 from their 5. They haven't lost in 10 games. The last time they lost was against Chelsea back in December.
Yeah, boys.
So, and Man City have had the up and down before the break. So, depending on how these teams come back, there's a good chance that it can happen.
One's second and the other's 9th, so it doesn't really fucking matter.
But if you look at the gap between Arsenal and pretty much Chelsea, which is 4th, they're still with 27 points.
Yeah, of course.
If like Emin said, the form that they're in, maybe Europa League or maybe just sneak in if Chelsea or Leicester
That's a big
or
ask.
Man U just suddenly drop
I don't
form.
care about that. Just beat Man City. I don't care what you do with the rest of the season.
I'm pretty sure you boys will be having your
Well, we
Arsenal
have to win.
jerseys on rent from someone or somewhere.
Yeah, Dennis, give me a jersey, land.
Now, with the Project Restart itself, so the aim is to finish the league by July 26th. Now, obviously, that would be roughly 2 to 3 months later than what it usually would have been.
Yeah.
The aim also is to run the FA Cup final on August 1st. And in the middle of the Premier League and everything like that, the FA Cup quarterfinals and semi-finals will be played throughout the Premier League. Now, it works well in a way for the European teams, or if any English teams do make the finals for the Europa League or the Champions League. At this stage, the Europa League and the Champions League is August 26th and 29th. Now, they haven't listed when when next year's season is going to start, but it seems like everyone's following suit slowly, and it's going to be very tight with that recovery stage for the players. It will look in 2-3 weeks and a September start, because the more you delay next season, you're going to have
everything else from here onwards.
pretty much you're going to have a clusterfuck of a fixture. So you're going to have Premier League, FA Cup, Carling Cup, the Community Shield, Europa League, Champions League, whoever's in those times, all literally playing.
Yeah.
And then you got to consider all the transfer seasons and stuff like that you want to bring in as well. So
I think that's the one that's going to. I reckon there's going to be a change to the transfer season this season. They're going to realize something better. And I hope that it is that the transfer market goes more into the league than it should.
yeah,
At the moment, the Premier League closes off a lot earlier than the other the other leagues at the moment. So, in my opinion, I think
it's
it
a
should
better
go.
thing.
It should go. It should go to maybe round 3 or round 4 of the Premier League, or whatever league you're in, to give that adjustment.
You get to see your team play that first 3-4 weeks. At
Exactly.
least it gives you some time to do some transfers. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, but that should have been done before because
Well, originally was like that. Originally, they used to finish on August 30th, and I believe it hit maybe a week or two into the Premier League, and then the Premier League decided to stop that
Yeah,
because
it's
everyone
stupid.
was just buying players left, right, and centre in the middle of at the beginning of the Premier League. But in my opinion, I think they should change that back to the normal where
they shouldn't have
you
never
can go and
changed
play.
it.
Yeah, so because it also gives a big disadvantage to the Premier League teams with other leagues still being able to buy
Exactly.
your players, and you can't
And you
replace
can't buy
them.
no one.
Yeah.
So hopefully that does change with this whole project restart. Massively news project restart.
It's exciting. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if you boys know, but obviously there's contracts that end before August and stuff like that. What's the go with that? Are they just going to keep paying the players as they would have, or
At the moment, there is a lot of players that fall into that category,
Yeah.
and I don't think anything has been made unless the player has spoken to the club has spoken to the player or player speaking to the club. An example, and I'll use this as the biggest example, which is Willian for Chelsea. I don't think nothing's set in stone yet as to what's going to happen once his contract expires, which would be June 1st or June 30th. So I think that's going to fall down to the club and the player trying to organise something. If they're saying that it's going to finish July 26th, maybe you can buy them at a contract extension.
yep, for a couple of months or whatever?
Yeah, it'll be for 1 month.
Yeah.
Literally, or 1 or 2 months, depending on the fixtures that the clubs have remaining. So at that moment, that's still done. Also, the big thing is do the kits change mid-season, because this is the first time that's going to happen, because your contract would be, I reckon, June 30th
Well, if they don't change, they'll be doing Arsenal a massive favour.
with their new blood stripping kit. So yeah, all that has yet to be decided, and I would assume that it's going to fall down to their contractual agreements with the players or the corporations that they're involved in.